Oh, I'm going to try this one more time. Sorry if you've already heard this. I keep messing up. So, I am talking about creating healing spaces in community and the idea that we, part of how we do that is to create a center in which we all gather around. So, I know I think most of us can understand that, in um, as individuals, we absolutely have the ability to. Um, Draw closer to God, to draw closer to Christ, to um, come to a space where we feel the divine in our lives. So I that to me is kind of a given. So the real question is then why do we gather? What is the purpose behind that? And we have a scripture that says, when two or three are in this gathered together, so I'm in the midst. Something along. Sorry, I'm not really a scriptorian. I have them in my head, but Um, I don't have them memorized completely. I apologize. But there's this idea that actually, when we come together, is when Christ is with us. And so the question I started asking myself is then what is our center? I think that's actually a really good question. I think we all would probably talk about that as different, but I think ultimately we would say Christ is our center, that Christ is who we come together to understand, to learn from and about. And one thing I truly love about our particular faith is that we also um, we have covenants and relationships with God, in which we are creating relationship with God. But along with that, we're also creating relationships with those around us, families, community. We commit to each other in very serious and real ways, and really the idea being that we gather and our center becomes the idea that we are creating a relationship with God and with each other. That it is in that covenantal relationship that we become like God. That we are capable of learning and growing in that space. So, for me, the idea that the focus of creating a healing space is really focused around the idea that these relationships and these interactions we're having with each other are meant to help me grow and live in a way that I can become my best self and that I can develop a greater relationship with God. I think you can add in so many other elements to that, and it would be interesting to have a discussion about that. But I think our center, and I think I'm correct in saying this, our center is really those things, creating relationship with God and with each other. And that's what our covenants are founded on. It's a huge part of who we are as a people. So um, when we're trying to create these healing spaces, come to those spaces with the idea in mind that you have a center, that there's a reason and a purpose for being there. Um, and so I actually think sometimes that may change, and that's okay too. But that's what really creates that power behind the space that we are trying to create.